Hello, ladies and gents. So, we're going to get into the anatomy of a perfect silk press. The first thing you want to do is analyze the client's hair and scalp. We had a pre-consultation, but this is just me going through and just checking and making sure nothing's changed. The next step is to thoroughly wet this hair down. Now, if you'll notice, I'm going to be wetting her hair down on this first round for quite a while. You can see the white bubbles. She has some product in her hair. You do not want to shampoo the hair and they still have product in their hair. Make sure you are rinsing all of that product out before you apply shampoo. It is so important because otherwise you will have to shampoo them more than you need to, or you'll find that the hair still has oil and buildup and things in the hair, even after a really good shampoo. Next, I'm going to shampoo the hair with Design Essentials Oat Protein and Henna Shampoo. All right, now I'm about to show you the trick of the trade, how to get the perfect shampoo every time. First, you rub your hands together, you tap the top, you tap the middle, rub together again. Then you're going to tap the sides. And then you can either, if they have really thick hair, you can either open up that middle part and do that lower middle, or you can just go up underneath. There we go. We're doing the sides, and now I'm just going to go underneath. Her hair is medium thickness, so it worked out really nicely. It saturated completely. All right, now let's get into the nitty gritty of what is going to make this silk press really pop. So I do something very controversial to each of my natural clients, and that is I sit them up and I comb them out. And I'm going to tell you why. When a lot of my clients come in, they either have taken down a protective style, a sew-in or something, or they've been rocking their natural, or they had it braided. In any case, that middle is always some way or some form tangled. And so what I learned is with this Design Essentials, it gives such a nice slip for the first shampoo that before I do any scrubbing, any major manipulation of the scalp, I sit that client up and I go through each section by section and I comb it out. All right, let's get into the type of comb I like to use. So this shampoo comb is awesome. It took me years to find what works for me. I love this one because the teeth are not sharp and it won't rip the client's hair out. So if you notice, I'm not digging in and just combing. I'm actually skimming over the top and loosening up and breaking up some of those tangles in there. You guys have ever experienced it, but when I was a young stylist and I was shampooing for my mother, I remember doing a lady's hair who had just come out of a sew-in. And she said, "Oh, it's itching, girl, it's itching." And she wanted to rush me. And I said, I feel like I need to comb it first, but I didn't. And so I went right in, went to town. I scrubbed her real good. And when I tell you, it took us hours to detangle how matted it was. I mean, it was matted. And so from then on, I realized, you know what, it's easier to wet that client down really, really well, and then to put that first shampoo in. And the reason why I really love the Design Essentials is because, like I said, it gives me the slip I want, but also it is a moisturizing, clarifying shampoo. So it removes the buildup without leaving that hair feeling dry and brittle. So you're actually working it. This is a part of the shampoo. Me combing it through is actually removing the oils and the buildup and making sure it's thoroughly removed. Have you ever done a silk press or someone's hair and they had a knot or a tangle that you didn't get out, and then when you did get it out, you noticed it was filled with product or oils or dirt, and then that part of the person's hair was just not very clean? This is why I go through and take my time and comb that first shampoo. My clients sometimes, especially my newer clients who don't know me well, they are anxious to get that scrub, that good scrub that I do. But I just let them know, look, it's coming, but this part here is important too. All right, now we're going to talk about some benefits of why you comb that first shampoo through. So some of you might be thinking, well, I don't need to do that. I'm going to scrub them up and then I'll wait until the conditioner. Well, here's the problem with waiting to comb it through while the conditioner's in. First, all the dirt and oils that are trapped in that hair, especially from a person coming from a sew-in or a crochet or a protective style, all of that trapped in dirt is still in the hair. Even if you go to town and scrub that scalp, the scalp is clean. The hair is not clean. And so you'll notice you'll rinse them, you'll do a little light leave-in, blow dry, and the whole salon is smoked out. All right, so we're going to get into our second shampoo. We're going to use Olaplex number 4. It is a bond strengthening shampoo, and I personally use it weekly on myself. I love it. People think that you have to have hair color in order to use Olaplex, but it is not necessary. It just strengthens the hair. So I use it on pretty much all of my clients. And if they want the Olaplex treatment, then it's an extra charge of $35. But I care about the health of my clients' hair, so I use it on everybody that I see needs it. All right, now we're getting into the fun part, the scrubbing. So now I can actually scrub her hair with her scalp, with confidence because I know it's not going to be a matted, tangled up mess later. And if you notice, I am scrubbing. I'm using the balls of my fingers, and I am applying lots of pressure, and it's almost like a massage as well as a good scrub. Also, one more thing I want to note about the Olaplex shampoo. It is very thick. You don't need a lot. I actually, for the video's sake and for like eye candy, I put more than I would normally put for you guys. But typically, you need half of what I squeeze into my hand. So that's just FYI. So I want to get back into why we want to comb that first shampoo through. So you have a client and she's just taken down her sew-in or her crochet, and her hair seems all right, and you're like, but it probably needs to be combed out. Many clients are tender-headed, and if you try to comb them out dry, it'll be pretty painful for them. Also, I've noticed that when I've done the dry comb out, I lose more hair that way. The clients shed a lot more. The wet comb out actually saves their hair. So it's a personal preference for me. I've been doing hair for over about 20 years. And so just trial and error. The dry makes them uncomfortable, scrunching down in the chair and running from the comb. But when it's wet, they're on their phone, they're enjoying it. And if you noticed when I combed it out that first time, I was holding on to the hair nearest the root. So yeah, I hope that helps. So we have removed the buildup with our clarifying. We have strengthened with our Olaplex bond strengthening. And now we're going to add moisture back into the hair with Design Essentials Honey Cream. I love this stuff, and the smell is amazing. I always say whatever you take out of the hair, you need to put it back in. So since we did one clarifying, I'm following it up with one moisturizing shampoo. All right, so we're finally at the conditioning phase. This is Olaplex number 5. It's very, very thick. So use what you need to. I always towel dry the hair before I apply the conditioner. I want maximum absorption. I don't want most of it going down the drain because it's overly wet. So I towel dry the hair and then I apply the conditioner. The same fashion, the Cecily method, where I tap in certain areas, rub my hands together. And when I'm tapping, I'm not tapping with my whole hand. So that's why there's still quite a bit of product left. I usually will tap with the heel of my hand or the balls of my fingers, just enough to get a little product on each part of that hair. So one little tip that I learned from a massage therapist friend of mine is that you should always be in contact with the person's scalp while you're doing a scalp massage. So if you lift one hand off, well, another hand should always be touching the hair or the scalp. And it just adds to the enjoyment of the massage, and the person can feel fully engaged and connected the entire time. All right, so here's the final and most important step. So, just a disclaimer here, my little shampoo assistant, she left me hanging, and so I had to hook up this contraption to my chest or my neck. So, I have a lot of boobs, and they were in the way. So, but this is the cool rinse. The water doesn't have to be freezing cold, but nice and cold to seal the cuticle and seal in all that good shine and all that lovely bounce that you're going to have when this hair is dry. So, yeah, she was loving that. Not really, just kidding. So, here's another time in the shampoo process where I take my time and rinse. I rinse for a very long time. My mom used to say, rinse until you don't see those little white bubbles in the bottom of the sink. And so I do that now as an adult. If you notice, I take that nozzle, I open that hair up, and I spray right in the middle, but I don't hug the head with the nozzle. I actually, here, you see my assistant came back. Anyway, I don't hug the hair with the nozzle because that actually keeps the product pushed close. What I do is I pull that nozzle away quite far, as far as I can without splashing, and I let the water aggressively smack the hair to make sure that it shakes the tree, so to speak, and gets all of that product out. You want to rinse every bit of that conditioner out, because anything you leave in will be in the hair when you dry it. So, yep, we're all done. I'm going to towel dry her and sit her up for phase 2. All right, so now we're going to do the leave-in conditioner. On her today, I'm going to use the Mazzani Miracle Milk, but my favorite leave-in is actually the Pravana, and it's called Intense Therapy. I love that. The smell is light, and it's a very light leave-in. The Mazzani is a little heavier, but I felt like she needed a little bit of extra moisture, so there you have it. Okay, so here's how I do my silk presses, and this has saved my life countless times when I've had clients with that 4C hair that is shrunk up to their ears, and then when you comb it out, it's to their bra strap. This method has saved my life. So basically what you do is you do 5 plaits or twists. So people with her texture hair, I do more of a twist. But if their hair is more coarse, I do a really loose plait or braid. The reason being is because I learned in beauty school, and I found it to be true. When you try to blow dry that hair soaking wet, it actually causes damage to the hair. But not only that, you create more work for yourself. But if you plait them, especially natural clients, put them under the dryer for maybe 5 to 7 minutes, their scalp will go ahead and get dry, and that hair will be 70 to 80% dry, which will help you in the blow drying process. I don't know if you guys have ever had a client say, well, my scalp still feels wet when you try to blow dry them right away. I hate that. And it just makes my job harder. So I go ahead and put them under the dryer after I do the twist. All right, I want you to notice here, I am combing her out with my shampoo comb, but then I'm following up with a smaller tooth comb. Why do I do that? Many times when you're dealing with 4C hair, their hair collects lint. Now, this woman doesn't have 4C hair, but I still make it a practice with each of my clients because maybe my wider tooth comb has missed a tangle or not, and we want to make sure we don't have any of those, because when that hair is dry, it's going to give you heck. So what I do is I comb it with the wide tooth comb, and when I'm sure I got it pretty combed out, I'll go back over it with a smaller tooth comb, and I'll put the picture of the comb I used here. So I roughly do 5 plaits, and that's just my preference. It makes it a lot easier for me. And one thing that I do, the reason why I chose that amount and that pattern is because of that very middle front plait. Okay, so that is a square, and it's from the middle of the eyebrow to the middle of the other eyebrow. And the reason being is because you don't always know, and the client doesn't always know what side they want to wear their part on. So when I'm blow drying, I can actually ask them right before I blow dry that section. I'll say, hey, what side do you want your part on? But no matter what they say, I always blow dry that part going forward. One, it gives it a little bit of a lift, a little bit of height, and also that part, like where the part is, the hair will lay nice and flat. Have you guys ever dried someone's hair and then they changed their mind and wanted the part on the other side? And then that hair is just like completely rebellious and wanting to go its own way. So to avoid that, that's why I do that square part right in the center, because it's not giving me middle part and it's not far enough over to be a right or left. It's just in a neutral place so that when I blow dry it, we can choose where she wants her part. I hope that makes sense. All right, guys. So this is the end of part 1 of the anatomy of an excellent silk press. I hope to see you guys in part 2, where we will finish this beauty's look, and I'll give you some pointers on how to use a real live pressing comb. Whoop, whoop. All right. I'll see you guys then. Bye.